we're just discussing what the Bible has to say about the state, civil government, particularly with reference to Nigeria. And when you understand the definition of the word politics, you will see that the political situation in any country is actually a reflection of the people of that country. When you look at this word politics, we defined it the last time from its etymology, which is it's from the Greek word politica, which means the affairs of the state. But the word itself, the Greek word itself, politikos, from where we get this word politics, means of the state, of the city, or of the nation. It's from the Greek word politis, which means the citizens of a state, the citizens of a city. So when you look at the politics of any country, it's simply a reflection of the people that live in that country. When you look at the political situation of Nigeria, then it's then a reflection of us Nigerians. You can't blame politicians alone on the political situation in the country. It's a corporate situation. If the situation is bad, then it's because we are all, as a people, responsible for the state of our politics. Because politics simply means the state of affairs. Politics simply means the citizens of the country. They create the politics of the country. So if the people are ignorant, then they are in a situation where the ruling class in that country will take advantage of them, which cheat them of their rights and privileges. The ruling class of that country will then abuse the authority of the state. So that's very important. The greatest and the biggest antidote to oppression, the greatest and the biggest antidote to the abuse of power is educating the people. And that's the reason why Jesus placed the church there. He said, go into all the world and disciple the nations. What is discipleship? It's to teach. That's why it says, teaching them to observe all things. When you teach people, you inform them of what's available to them. You inform them of what God has made available to them. So that's the church, therefore, is the greatest, I would say, bulwark against the oppression of any people. So the church has a role to play in this. Jesus Christ said, go into the world and teach the people. You see, and we are looking at the source of the authority of state power in terms of the Bible now. What is the origin of the power with which the government rules the people? Where does that authority come from? For example, in Nigeria now, we talk about the federal government headed by the current president of the country, which is President Muhammadu Buhari, and his vice president and his ministers. And then you have the legislature consisting of the Senate and the House of Representatives. And then you go from there, you go to the state governments, where you have the governors, and then you have the local government, and then so on and so on. And it speculates down until you get down to where the people are. But where is the authority? Where does that authority come from? Well, according to the Bible, that authority is the authority of the family. You cannot look at the authority with which the government rules you apart from yourself. Actually, you are the one from whom they derive that authority. And we've seen that in our previous teaching, we saw it as we went into the origin of nation states in the world. We saw, as we traced it back to three families, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, who were sons of Noah, who had families that then populated the earth, out of which came cities and states and then nations. So the authority of the government, the authority of civil government is the authority of the family. So actually, when we go to vote for who rules us as president, when we go to vote for who rules us as state governors and all that, we are actually delegating to them our God-given authority as heads of families. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Therefore, that gives us a responsibility to also hold the people to account how they use that power in governing us. That places conditions upon them by which they govern us. So if we don't know this reality, if we don't know these truths, we are in a situation through ignorance where we can be cheated, where we can be abused, where we can be oppressed, where the resources of the country can be stolen by those who are in authority. So the secret, or I would say the antidote to bad government is education. When people are educated about their rights, when they get to know that, look, these are our God-given rights and privileges, then you can rise up and stand up to the government and say, no, we demand accountability here. We demand that you rule us according to certain terms and conditions, and you must stay within those terms and conditions. So we see, and that's what we are tracing. We are tracing the fact that the authority of the government is the authority of the family. That's where it comes from. And we quoted, Aristotle, who said the political unit, so Nigeria as a political unit, or the political unit of a country, the political unit or the state grew from the minimum society, which is the family, and which became the village, and which then became the city or the nation state. So the political unit, that is Nigeria as a political unit, and any other political unit that you can talk about in the world, grew out of the family. And the family has always been the center and the bedrock. Just quickly look at Numbers 13. Let me see. Numbers 13 verse 2. And this is Moses, God talking to Moses. He says, send thou men that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel. Now notice the sequence. Every tribe of their fathers shall ye send a man, every one a ruler among them. This is a huge statement when it comes to understanding the principles of civil government. He says, he told Moses, send 12 men which will represent the nation. So you see the principle of representation here. And then he says every one of them should be from each of the tribes of Israel. And then he tells you that the tribes came out of the fathers. So the father, the authority of the tribe, the ruler of the tribe, is the authority of the father. You see? So that's the father as the head of the family. Now, let's look at that. Sometimes in the Bible, the house, the nation is referred to as a house. Let me give you an example of that in Psalm 127. So Psalm 127, we're talking about the authority of the federal government, the authority of the state government, the authority of local government. Where does it come from? And according to the Bible, is the authority of the father of the household. So you, as a father of a household, together with the mother of the household or the head of the household, you understand, your authority is what became the authority of the local government. It's what became the authority of the tribe, the local government, the state, and then the federal government. That's the reason why you cannot look at the federal government apart from yourself. You cannot look at the federal government apart from yourself.
A better covenant for you.
Do you need wisdom to succeed in life? Or a community that will pray with you for that miracle you desperately need? If your answer is yes, then you should connect with a Better Covenant Ministry online today. Discover life-changing messages and articles, audio podcasts that will stir you to greatness, and many other resources from the stable of a Better Covenant Ministries, Polokwane, South Africa. Yes, you don't have to let life's problems weigh you down. Connect with us today and get encouraged daily. Click now.
A better covenant for you.
As I was saying, the country, the nation, many times in the Bible is referred to as a house. For example, it talks about when God talked about the children of Israel, he said, I delivered you from the house of bondage. is referring to the entire nation of Egypt as a house. Then if you look at Psalm 127, here in Psalm 127, unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. It's referring to the whole nation of Israel as a house. So you can look at, God can refer to the whole nation of Nigeria as a house of Nigeria, just as he referred to the nation of Egypt as a house of bondage. The nation of Nigeria can be referred to as a house of Nigeria. So also the nation of Ghana can be referred to as a house of Ghana. The nation of South Africa can be referred to as the house of South Africa. Now, to further prove to you that the authority of the government is the authority of the family, you look at this word ab, the Hebrew word for father, which is a word spelled Aleph Beth or A-B. When you translate it into Greek and into English, becomes Abba, which is A-B-B-A. But actually the Hebrew word is ab, A-B, Aleph Beth. That word, if you take that word and break it down, because God spoke to the Hebrew people in very pictorial, the Hebrew language, I think, is the most pictorial language in the world. And even the alphabets of the Hebrew language convey meaning. They convey to you pictures. And many times when I study my Bible, when I want to know better, we want to understand the word better, I actually take that word and I break it down and I begin to look at the alphabets and see what they convey to me. So the Hebrew word father consists of two words. You have the word Aleph, which in the Hebrew means a head, a leader, a strong one. You see, a captain. That's what the Aleph. Aleph means one who is at the head, who is at the beginning, who is the leader, who is the head of something. So you have that word, or it also means a strong one. So you have the word Aleph, and then you have the word Beth. You see, so you have the word Beth, which is the Hebrew word which translates into our English alphabet as B. That Hebrew word Beth means a house. So the father is the head of the house. And that's the reason why in Middle Eastern nations, the head of a country many times is referred to as the father of the country, the father of the nation. And of course, in Africa, we have that attitude also toward our leaders. We refer to our leaders as our fathers. We could refer to Muhammad Buhari as the father of the nation. We could refer to the leader of of a region as the father of the entire region. You see, that's the way. That's our attitude toward our own leaders. It also originates from the attitude that the Middle Eastern people had toward their own leaders. It came from divine revelation, where they refer to the head of the nation as the father of the nation. So you have this word Ab, or the father of the house. He is the head of the house, and the nation itself is referred to by God as the house. And consequently, the leader of the house is the father of the house, which translates again to the family. In other words, we can look at the nation as an extended family, as the family in extension, a bigger dimension of the family. So the one who rules us, the one who governs us in the country, is governing us not with any authority that is outside of us, is using our own authority to govern us. In other words, we collectively as a people surrender, delegate. We delegate to him, not all of the authority, because you still retain some of it. We delegate to him the authority which was given to Adam in Genesis 1:26. We delegate it to the head of state and say, use this authority to govern us, to protect us, to keep the evil out, and to encourage the good. Because the authority of the state is the authority that God gave to Adam in Genesis 1:26, which became the authority of the head of the family, which man and woman hold together. But in terms of organization, in terms of hierarchy, the father is the head of the home. So I want you to see that, and this is a life-transforming truth. This is the basis upon which free nations emerged out of very oppressive society. Wherever Christianity has spread, wherever this understanding has gone, there has always been a transformation in the nature of government, because people began to see the government not apart from themselves, but an extension of themselves. The government of the land is an extension of yourself. Then when you begin to have this understanding, when you go to vote for who rules you, you will take that with all the seriousness that it deserves, because what you are doing when you cast your vote is that you are delegating the authority to somebody who you would like to use that authority for your good, for the good of your family, for the good of the nation and other families within the nation. Collectively, all that authority becomes the authority of the federal government, the state government, and the local government. You see, this is not the federal government is not what, it doesn't give us rights. It's not even the writing of the constitution that gives us our rights. It's not a few free privileged people, like Nigeria now. We've had several constitutions. The people of Nigeria didn't even have so much say in how those constitutions came about. Some people just came together and called themselves Constituent Assembly or whatever name and said these are the rights and the privileges of Nigeria. No, our rights and our privileges as a people are God-given. They are God-given. You see, it's the right to walk in dominion that was given to us in Genesis 1:26 that became the right of the state to govern. So they cannot govern us apart from our consent. They cannot govern us apart from terms and conditions which we agree upon as a people, by which they will govern us. And when they move out of those terms, and we're going to come back to this as I talk more on the subject of the state. We're going to begin to see more of this as I talk about this. You start to understand that there has to be a covenant between the governed and the governors. And the terms and conditions by which they govern us has to be laid down. And we hold them accountable to those terms and conditions, because it's your authority that they are using to govern you. I mean, it's just like somebody who has shares in the company, but is not interested in what's happening, in how that company is being run. Is not interested in what happens to that company, and yet you bought shares in that company. No. If you have shares in a company, you have your eyes wide open in what's happening in that company. You want to be sure that the company is being run properly. You want to be sure that the right people are managing that company, because your money is in that company. So also it is with the affairs of the state of Nigeria or whichever country you live in. Because the authority by which they govern you is the authority of the family, you also want to be sure of what is happening in government. You want to be sure. You don't go to bed and allow the affairs of your state to be handled by a special class of people called politicians. You see. And so this is what the Church of Jesus Christ is supposed to make the people aware. Teach the church on these things. Let the church also begin to teach the wider society that these are our God-given rights. And the right to govern, the government does not govern us with some power that is as external to us. You see, it's our power that they are using to govern us. You don't have power it's not military might that gives people the right to govern. And that's the reason why we have so many problems in Nigeria. A group of people just woke up in the military several different times and just shot their way into power and said, no, we are now the government of the land. And through the grace of God, we survived all that. We can rise to a better form of government when we begin to understand what civil government is all about according to the Bible. According to the Bible, the civil government is an extension of the family. It's an extension of the family. It's an extension of the authority of the family, the power of the family. And when all that comes together, when all the different families bring all that power together, it becomes the might of the government. So I want to end it there today, but I want you to begin to see that change doesn't come through from the outside. If Nigeria is going to change, it's going to change as we as a people begin to understand the dynamics the biblical dynamics, the biblical design of government, what God had in mind. How did God design government to function? What is the blueprint? You see, what is the blueprint of it? What did God have in mind? When we understand what God had in mind, how God designed government to work, then we can begin to put it to work. We can begin to work it the way God designed it to work. If you're just joining me for the first time, I want to encourage you to like this and also to subscribe and share it with as many friends as you can. And you can also go to my website. I've got a lot of products on my website, www.abettercovenant.org. And also I'm available on several podcast channels. You can see my podcast. You can listen to my podcast on most major podcast channels. I am there. So until I come your way again, God bless you. God keep you. And let's keep praying for our country, Nigeria, but not just pray for our country, Nigeria. Let's begin to get interested. If you are head of a household or you are planning to be the head of a household, you have a responsibility to, one way or the other, get involved in the affairs of your country. Don't leave this very important thing to just a special class of people called politicians. Get involved in the government of your street. Get involved in your local government. Get involved in what's happening in the locality around you. Get involved in that. When people gather together to talk about what's happening in your street, get involved. When people talk about your local government, get involved. When people talk about the state government, get involved. Talk about the federal government, get involved. But get involved knowing that this is my authority with which they are going to govern me. And one day you're going to be standing before God and giving an account of what you did with that authority. Don't sell your votes. Don't sell your consent. Don't sell yourself cheap to politicians. Let us begin to rise and demand accountability from those that govern us, knowing that they are governing us with our God-given authority. And the authority of the state is the authority of the family. God bless you.
Satan is defeated.